expecting and wishing that it is going to be a good day for all of us ahead. Today we are going to look at the remaining part of the lesson transformation. Today we are in the 13th class where we will be looking at how compound sentences are changed into simple sentence, or transformation of a compound sentence into a simple sentence. Now let's look at what are these two sentences. What is a compound sentence? A compound sentence is a sentence that which is made up of two coordinate clauses. Coordinate clause means independent clauses or clauses that can stand by itself. Okay. So there will be two coordinate clauses connected with a coordinating conjunction. That is what is a compound sentence. And what is a simple sentence? A simple sentence is a sentence that has got only one finite verb or one clause in it. Okay. So in the given sentence you will have two clauses, one of which you will have to change into a phrase or a word or whatever it is, or remove that one of the clauses, and you have to stay back or remain with one clause in the sentence. Then only it will be a simple sentence. That is what is the structural change that takes place. Now let's look at it. Using a participle. That's a compound sentence is given to you, and one of the clauses you have to make it into a participle phrase. Okay, let's see what a phrase with a participle. Let's see how it is. She found the climate of Shimla very favorable. She found the climate of Shimla very favorable. One clause. And she decided to buy a flat there. And she decided to buy a flat there. Now she is not written here because the subject for both the clauses are the same. That's why it is not repeated. So she found the climate of Shimla very favorable, or very nice, very good for her, and as a result she decided to buy a flat there. So this is a compound sentence. Why? Because it has got two clauses and two coordinate clauses and one coordinating conjunction. Is that clear? Now you have to make simple sentence. Finding the climate of Shimla very favorable, she decided to buy a flat there. Finding the climate. This found has been made into a present participle, and this, which was a clause, now has become a phrase because there is no finite verb in it. Finding the climate of Shimla very favorable. See, there is no finite verb in it. She decided to buy a flat there. Decided is a finite verb, and altogether in both these clauses or both, this full sentence we have only one finite verb, so it becomes a simple sentence. That clear to you? So we have to make one clause into a phrase, okay, by making a participle or a noun or whatever it is. Let's look at one more example. He decided to live life on his own terms. He therefore made few compromises. Okay, a straightforward man. A man who is sincere in his life. He decided to live his life on his own terms, the way he likes. Therefore, or as a result, he made very few compromises, means that most of the time he was not ready to agree to what people say. What he thought probably was good, he followed. Okay. Now he desired is changed into desirous. Desirous of living life on his own terms, he made few compromises. So desirous of living, desired to live, that is changed into desirous of living life on his own terms, he made few compromises. Now by using an infinitive, one must exercise self-restraint or one's energy will be wasted in unproductive activities. Okay, one must exercise self-restraint means self-control. Okay, if I don't exercise self-control, what happens? My energy, one's energy will be wasted in unproductive activities, in doing things that are of no use at all. And one must exercise self-restraint to avoid, participle, to avoid wasting one's energy in unproductive activities. Wasting one's energy in unproductive activities. Fine. Next. His father suffered heavy losses in business. His father suffered heavy losses in business, and this added to his difficulties. As a result, already there are existing difficulties. Now the falling into heavy losses in business again added up his difficulties. In spite of, his father suffered heavy losses in business to add to his difficulties. To add is infinitive that is made. To add to his difficulties. Fine. Next, by using a prepositional phrase. By using a prepositional phrase. Rana Pratap had scarce resources. Still, he persisted in his struggle against the Mughals. This is from Indian history. Okay, Rana Pratap had scarce resources, very little resources. Scarce means very little. Okay, hardly resources, and yet he still persisted in his struggle against the Mughals. But he did not give up his struggles against the Mughal, fighting against the Mughal emperor or Mughal dynasty. Fine. So, Rana Pratap had scarce resources. In spite of having scarce resources, in spite of having, prepositional phrase, in spite of having scarce resources, Rana Pratap persisted in his struggle against the Mughals. Rana Pratap persisted in his struggle against the Mughals. So Rana Pratap had scarce resources, that is changed into in spite of having scarce resources. Next, he is not only a good counselor but also very generous. He is not only a good counselor, but also a very generous a man he is. Besides being a good counselor, he is not only a counselor, is changed into besides being a good counselor. In addition to being a good counselor, other than being a good counselor, he is also very generous. He is also very generous in his lifestyle. So that's how, by using a prepositional phrase, a sentence, a compound sentence is changed into a complex sentence. The new sentence, besides being a good counselor, he is also very generous. Only is a finite verb. And he is also very generous is the only clause in it, And besides being a good counselor is a phrase now. In the previous sentence, he is not only a good counselor, it was one clause, but also very generous, another clause. Is that clear to you? Fine. If you have got any doubts, you can ask me over the phone or the online class. Thank you.